Hi everybody, welcome back. On this video here, we're going to be talking about variables, what they are and how we use them. Variables are just simple containers that we, put information in there, put data in, and use it with other functions. I'm going to show you how to use them right now. First, make sure that you have a folder in your desktop or anywhere else you want to use it, and name in JavaScript if you're following me. All right. Inside this, now if you have not downloaded the exercise files, do this. But you can go ahead and download the exercise files if you want, and you already will have a folder like this with some files in there. But if you don't have it and you want to follow everything from scratch, which I think is a good suggestion, just use the exercise files when you need to reference something. But I suggest you start fresh from the start. That way you can learn the most. So make a folder called JavaScript. Inside that folder, then we're going to have some documents. But right now, you're not going to see much here in my screen. You're going to have a lot more files than this. And I'm just going to use a blank.html there. I'm going to drag it in there because it's just an empty HTML document, and I'm going to do a save as on this, and I'm going to name it variables. All right, don't mind the files that are here. I jump from course to course. Sometimes I delete certain lectures because I don't like them and I redo them again. So anyways, just know that you have more files in your exercise files than this. So we're going to name this variables.html. All right, and we're gonna open it up with a script tag. We're gonna open up our script, our JavaScript functions there, or code, and we're gonna open this in the browser. All right, and if I can get my browser, I have another monitor. It's huge in the left side and creates a huge window like this. But anyways, so if we save this now, we get this little word here because I'm typing this just to make sure that we are on that document. All right, so variables. How do we use them? What is it basically? All right, so we use them with a keyword called var. This is a reserved keyword in JavaScript. It means that you're going to create a variable and you're going to give it a name. All right, so I just created my variable and gave it a name. It's empty right now, so I can't use it. If I refresh, I'm not doing anything with it. And even if I do, it has no value. We need to put a value on it, and the way we do that is by using the name again without the var, and then we assign it a value with a equal sign, and we can assign it a number, and we still don't show anything because we haven't used that value yet. I'm going to use it right now. I'm going to show you with an alert function. I'm going to put the name of the variable, and we don't need apostrophes or anything else. We just need the name of the variable there. Refresh it, and as you can see, I get the value printed out on my screen. All right, you can use any name you want. So if you want to use name list like that, you can. And of course, you got changing all of them. And and you can use, the way I use them is I put my lowercase here, and then the second word, if I have a variable that has a second word, I always started with a uppercase, and this is called camel case style. Now some people write it like this with an underscore, some people write it with two underscores. I don't like writing it like that. For me, that's not good. Some people do this. I don't like that. You can see my browser doesn't like this line. It highlights it in red. It still works, but it's not, I don't recommend it. You can never put a 0 in front of a variable because it will not work. So right now, if we go ahead and put a 0 on it, it will not work. Alert. We take the 0 out. All right. And oops. Sorry, guys. We take the 0 out and we refresh it. And right there. All right, it works. All right. So now another thing is that we can assign a different value to that variable. So if I want to assign it a different value now, refresh, and I assign a different value by writing the same name again and using a different value on it. All right. Now there is another way of actually doing this in one line. This is a lot of, as you can see here, I had to change it in many different places at the same time, right? Well, we can change all this. All right, we can define a variable and assign it a value at the same time, and that's what I do usually all the time. Right there, that's a lot easier, isn't it? One line there and refresh. Right there, you see that? So we defined it and then we assign it a value and we use a semicolon at the end. Always make sure that you use a semicolon to let JavaScript know that you're done writing that code. All right, so every time you define a variable, make sure you assign it a value if you're going to use it. All right, so that's one way of doing that. Now again, you can, now not again, but I haven't told you, but you can use any values in here. So let's say, for example, I have an h1 that I need to put there on that variable. I could, and I just write h1 there, and I alert it out, and it alerts out the h1. Now the alert function does not work with things like this. You might want to use another function to do something else with this h1. So you might use another function to include this h1 somewhere else on your screen, on your web page or website. All right, so keep that in mind. You cannot include this into an alert. All right, now you can also write. Now another thing that I wanted to explain to you on this video here, because I don't want to waste more time writing short videos, is that every time you want to write text inside a variable, you use apostrophes, double quotes, or you can use single quotes. All right, and to write numbers, you don't put apostrophe, and this is the way that JavaScript knows the difference between a string or a text, right, and a number. It doesn't see an apostrophe here, and it knows that it's a number. And later on, you're gonna see how useful this is when we are doing some math. Don't get scared. It's gonna be easy math, by the way. Right? So this in JavaScript is called a number. I mean a string, a text, and this is called nothing here, right? So anyway, it is called something. It's called an integer. Well, we'll talk about it in the math section. All right, so keep that in mind there, and I will give you these files if you want to reference them in the course exercise files. All right, so anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.